It's the co-meet, and I can't wait to get your perspective on this one because we just broke down one Bam Bam in the form of Tuivasa, and another Bam Bam here, Bryan Barbarena, is trying to lay claim to that nickname as he takes on the always tough Rafael dos Nachos, who is riding a pretty nice streak, or at least was, and then ran into Rafael Fiziev. Got finished in that one, and that was a nice back and forth contest. It was one where it was the battle of the Rafaels, and ultimately Fiziev was able to get that late fifth round finish. But before that, Dos Anjos had that beautiful win over Hanato Moicano. It was a fight that Moicano had to step into on short notice. They ended up fighting at 160, and Moicano did make a nice account for himself, especially late in that fifth round. But it was a fight that Rafael Dos Anjos really start to finish looked pretty well. I mean, Dos Anjos almost looked like he had peaked in that contest, which is crazy to think because this is a guy who used to be the lightweight champ, fought at one point for the interim 170-pound belt, and is a guy who, in my opinion, has had the most difficult resume as far as like UFC fighters that he's had to go throughout his career. I mean, if we just think about the guys that he's had to fight, Colby, Usman, Khabib, Leon Scott, like Fiziev, this dude has literally fought everyone, and he's fighting against Barbarena, who is riding a nice three-fight win streak. Most recently, got that fight of the night finish over Robbie Lawler, and he got a fight of the night victory over Matt Brown in the fight before that. But that was a split decision, and that was one that a lot of people thought Matt Brown maybe did win because it was that close, that competitive, that razor thin of a margin. But nonetheless, Barbarena got that victory and took out Darian Weeks' easy work before that. So he's 1-4 of 5. Dos Anjos is jumping back up to 170, which has had a mixed result as far as the success he has had there. So what are your thoughts on this one? Do you think that Barbarena at this point of his career, 33 years old, is ready to get that statement victory, and Dos Anjos maybe is just starting to turn the page, turn the corner in the wrong direction, or is this just going to be another easy levels test for Dos Anjos, and Barbarena simply isn't ready for what RDA is bringing? Who are you taking in this co-meet?
Yeah, this is an absolute barn burner. We got Bam Bam 2.0 versus RDA. Man, it's a big levels test. RDA is no joke. I mean, RDA beats everyone. And the people he loses to, it's close. So, man, but he's getting old. Bam Bam's been looking pretty good. Nice fight win streak. I do like that he is a dog, but he is going versus RDA. So I gotta pick RDA. RDA is an absolute legend. He should win this. I think easily. I think he still has some spunk in his age, so he should be able to get it done just for all the amount of fights, the knowledge, time he's been in the game, and he's been fighting at the highest level since day one, basically. Well, Barbarena just got to the highest level, and this is step one, get through RDA. So props to Bam Bam if he gets through. Wouldn't be the craziest thing, knowing that RDA just got knocked out. So, it's always sus when they get knocked out. How do they recover? With age and all that. Usually the younger guys recover a little faster, but we'll see. RDA is a freak in nature. But I gotta ride with him. He's a legend. And yeah.
Yeah, I feel on that for sure. And Barbarena is always fun to watch, though, right? Because he is always in contest. I mean, I reference it every time we talk Bryan Barbarena or Vicente Luque, but the fight that those two guys had was probably my all-time favorite fight that I've seen live for sure. Because Barbarena just always absolutely brings it, and sometimes is right there, ready to get a finish, but then ultimately gets finished himself. And that might happen in this one against RDA.
Yeah.
I got not that surprised at the fact that Dos Anjos opened closer to minus 340. It's swelled to minus 540 now. I mean, a lot of action coming in on Dos Anjos. Barbarena, meanwhile, was plus 240. Now sits around a plus 420 spot. So makes a lot of sense that on Tapology, only 18% is rolling with Bam Bam. There is a lot of Brown, majority of it. They think that the KO would be most likely if Barbarena is able to get the jump on Dos Anjos, but 82% is rolling with Dos Nachos. Most is beige for the decision. Little decent sliver for that copper sub, and then some brown for the KO. I know that the submission props are looking around plus 350, I believe, and then closer to plus 500 TKO KO prop for Dos Anjos. I think that a Dos Anjos finish might be likely in this one, and you might even be getting plus doinks at under 2.5. So I like Dos Anjos. I think he's probably going to be able to get this one to the mat and ultimately get a submission finish in this one, similar to what he did against Neil Magny when he picked up that performance of the night bonus. And I know that was back in 2017, so maybe we're dealing with a different iteration of Dos Anjos, but I just kind of like his ability to use his strength, use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Even though he did most of his work at 55, I still think that he'll have the strength advantage over Barbarena at welterweight nonetheless. So I'm going Dos Anjos. I like him by finish, but the money line straight up minus 540 just seems like too big of a stretch. I mean, plus 420 Barbarena, you never know. Like, this dude is always right there. He seems pretty confident in the media scrums this week. He says he's ready to make a statement, and RDA is just that next level up, right? You touched on the levels test that he's garnering. Basically, you go from Matt Brown, which is one levels test. Now you get Robbie Lawler, another levels test, and then Dos Anjos, right? Who's like basically the ultimate levels test. So we'll see if Barbarena can get through the ultimate levels test. I tend to think he can't, however. So I'm going to RDA by finish. Any last thoughts?
No, this is a great fight, and got to keep in mind, Bam Bam isn't even in the top 10 of fight time in the UFC, while RDA is basically number one for an active fighter in the UFC. So a lot more experience, a lot more time in there, so he should get this done, in my opinion. But throw in the comments, you taking the young chap Bam Bam, or are you going with the old vet?